Yeah, welcome everyone. I don't know if this is going to be our group for this evening, but I think it may be.
Denise is
So,
the only other, right?
oh, that's right. Yes, Denise might be joining us. So, however, it is time, and so tonight I would like to offer a yoga nidra type of practice, and so I don't know if you received my email earlier. I don't know if you had a chance to check. Yes, okay, great. Because I was going to suggest that you prepare your space in a way that makes it to you in this moment. And I heard Bruce speak about how he would prefer to sit up. However, if you would like later when we start the Yoga Nidra, if you would prefer to lie down and don't worry about you're going to be appearing in the screen or not. If you would like to lie down or would like to sit up maybe on a couch with your legs stretched out, whatever you feel is most conducive to coming into more of a state of relaxation. And if you can do that sitting up, just fine. Please feel free to sit up in meditation. Certainly one can fully relax the body sitting up as well. So you might even experiment, with it and try different positions. Don't feel like you have to stay in one position if that doesn't work for you. So just listen to your body and, make it work for you. It's not about what it looks like on the screen. It's nice to see each other, but sometimes, that's maybe not conducive to a given practice of the evening. So don't even worry about it, just whatever feels right to you. And yeah, and I thought we could just maybe just move the body just a little bit to warm up for the practice. So I'm just going to offer a few gentle movements, and if you want to stay seated, if you don't want to participate in them. Z is, for example, is not feeling well in their body today. So just again, listen to what is right. I know sometimes Denise goes right, for example, into a meditation and doesn't want to participate in the mindful movement, and that's perfectly fine. I just want to offer a few minutes in case you feel like, okay, I've been sitting a lot or I feel stiff, and so offer some movement so that it's conducive to coming into a time of stillness. So if you would like to stand up for that, or if you would like to stay seated, just decide for yourself. I'm just going to stand up and turn the screen around for that time of practice. And then wherever you are, wherever you're starting, tonight is really more about coming into a deeper stillness. So we're not going to do vigorous type of movements to prepare us for the stillness practice this evening, but a lot more gentle. So wherever you are, just allow yourself to fully arrive in the body. Feeling yourself either in a seated posture, a standing posture. I see that nobody's just yet lying down. So just noticing the posture that you have taken for yourself. And then can you invite in a gentle breath to accompany your posture? Maybe imagining that you're breathing from the sole of the feet all the way up to the crown of the head with your in-breath. And then as you breathe out, release the breath through the crown of the head into this vast night sky. So breathing in through the soles of the feet, breathing in the earth energy all the way up into the heart center. And then as you exhale, release the breath through the crown of the head into vast space. And as you continue to breathe in this way, imagine that you are breathing nourishment up through the soles of the feet, of the earth, into the heart. And then as you release through the crown of the head, just release whatever wants to release in this moment. And we'll just take a few more breaths in this way. And then if you wish to bring a little bit of movement into the body to prepare for our Yoga Nidra practice, on an in-breath, you can just gently lift the arms up to the height of the chest. And then as you exhale, just slowly letting them come down again towards the thighs. Inhale, reaching the arms up. And then exhale, releasing back down. As you release, if you're standing, maybe slightly bend into your knees. Inhale the arms up, straightening the knees. And then exhale, slowly back down. So just keep this movement going for a few more rounds, just up and down with your breath. And then on this next in-breath, breathe the arms all the way up towards the sky. And then as you exhale, arms come out to the side with the palms facing down. And then on an in-breath, have the backs of the hands together as you breathe them up overhead, opening the chest. And then exhale, the arms release out to the side with the palms facing down. Inhaling the backs of the hands together at the midline, reaching them all the way up. And exhaling out to the side, palms down. And just a few more rounds at your own pace, using the breath to guide you in and out of the movement. And then we're going to meet again with the hands in front of the heart in Namaste, pressing the backs of the thumbs into the heart center and just feeling that gentle rhythm of the breath flowing in and out of the heart. Feeling the breath touching the backs of the thumbs. Just as a gesture of centering yourself. And then you can make these next movements rather small and rather than big if there's not enough room for you to stretch the arms out to the side. So on an in-breath, just gently bring the arms out to the side as far as you can. And then exhale, give yourself a nice hug, placing the palms of the hands onto your shoulder blades, releasing your chin down and forward. Inhale, opening up again to starting position, arms out to the side, chest lifts. And then exhale, a lovely hug, placing the palms of your hands onto your shoulder blades, releasing the chin. And we'll just flow like this a few more rounds. And we'll just do one more inhaling and opening. And then exhale, one last hug. This time you can keep your torso up and just give yourself a gentle massage on the shoulders. And then release the arms, have your fists ready, and just gently tapping the chest out to the sides, down the sternum a few times. And then out, the outside of the rib cage a few times down, and then back up in half circles. Just a gentle massage in the front of the torso. And we're gonna bend over and just bring the fists into the lower back, and then just pummel the kidney area, the lower back a few times with your knees bent. Going as high up with the hands as you can, giving yourself a nice little back massage. And then turning the palms over and just rubbing the hands up and down in the lower back, maybe down the buttocks, tapping down the backs of the legs all the way down, and then coming back up on the inside of the legs. And then just as you come back into stillness, just already preparing an intention to slowly walk back to your seat, but just not yet walking. Just knowing that there's an intention now to find your way back to your seat if you were standing. And then really, in a moment, as you begin to walk, really walk slowly and mindfully, knowing that you're about to take your seat or lie down, and preparing yourself for a time of deep nourishment. So there's absolutely no rush. I'll give plenty of time for you just to set yourself up for this practice, and you may even lower your lights if that feels comfortable or right to you. Just take these next couple of minutes to really make the space as comfortable and as inviting for you as need be. And if your light gets turned off all the way, that's perfectly fine. We don't need to see you. It's just great. So it looks like everyone is pretty much getting there. I still see some movement in Linda's screen, so we're going to wait just a little while longer to really allow everyone to set themselves up. We have plenty of time for this. So as you have taken your posture, your seat, or your body lying down, or maybe stretching out, begin to invite your whole body and your whole self into your space. However you are, whatever this day has brought you, however it feels in this moment, see if you can invite in a gentle presence that can hold space for it all. And to begin with, invite yourself to take a few long and even in and out breaths to help calm your nervous system. So basically, that means that the in-breath, the length of the in-breath will match the length of the out-breath in whatever way that feels conducive to you and your well-being. And as you do so, you can watch the breath come all the way in and go all the way out. Eventually, you can find a breath where it feels like the breath is simply breathing itself. So you're not controlling the breath in any way, shape, or form anymore. It just simply feels like the breath is breathing itself in its own rhythms. Perhaps sometimes feeling shorter or longer, deeper or more shallow. However, the breath decides to breathe itself through the body. So there's a sense of letting go, of no longer controlling anything in the body, in the mind, in the heart. Just letting it all be there and manifest as it will. And as you feel ready, you can invite your awareness into the heart center. And this is the spiritual heart in the center of the chest. So just feeling the breath gently and lovingly as it breathes in and out of the heart. Imagining that it's breathing in and out of the heart. Slowly letting these breaths to penetrate to the inside of your heart. Nourishing the heart from within with your breath. And you can imagine now that you're sending these gentle breaths out to your entire body. And feeling these nourishing breaths healing the body. And you can guide the breath into the places in the body that feel hurt or tight, tense, stiff, or maybe even scared. The places where you feel a loving breath is needed in this moment. And then please direct the attention to the earth you're lying on or you're seated upon. And feel yourself held by the earth. And allow the body to relax into the safe embrace of the earth. So really allow yourself to feel the support of the earth underneath you so that you can fully relax into that. From this place of safety and relaxation, we will begin a body scan, starting at the soles of the feet. So please direct your awareness to the left foot and just becoming aware of the sole of the foot on the left side. And then become aware of the top of your left foot, your big toe, your second toe, your third toe, your fourth toe, and the fifth toe. Moving up to your left ankle, into your shin, your calf, being aware of the left knee, and perhaps feeling the knee from the inside out. Moving up into the left thigh, front, and back. And then up into the left buttock. Just noticing the sensations in the left buttock from the inside out. We'll slowly move the awareness over to the right foot now. Feeling and being aware of the sole of the right foot, the top of the foot, the big toe, second toe, third toe, fourth toe, and fifth toe. Moving the awareness up into the right ankle, up into the shin, the calf, the right knee, and see if you can feel the right knee from the inside out. Moving up into the right thigh, front, and back. And then being aware of your right buttock, however it is in this moment. When you're ready, you can bring your awareness into your left hand, noticing the top of the hand, the palm of your hand, your thumb, your pointer finger, your middle finger, ring finger, and pinky finger. And your awareness from here travels up into the left wrist, the forearm, top and bottom, your elbow, upper arm, top and bottom, all the way into your left shoulder blade, feeling the whole of the shoulder blade and back. We'll gently move our awareness over into the right hand, top of the right hand, palm of the right hand, your thumb, pointer finger, middle finger, ring finger, and pinky finger. Traveling up into the wrist, the lower arm, top and bottom, your elbow, your upper arm, top and bottom, all the way into the shoulder blade and back, feeling the right shoulder blade. And become aware of your spine and back, feeling the spine relaxed and resting. Feeling into the top of the spine, traveling down the vertebrae into the middle of the spine, and traveling further down into the lower part of the spine. And then from here, we come around to the front into the pelvic area, just feeling into this vast space of the pelvic region. Moving up into the belly, traveling up the side body, up the ribs, into the big chest area. Traveling further up into the neck and feeling the neck in the front, to the right side, the back, and the left side. Feeling and getting a sense of the neck all around. And then allow your awareness to travel even further up into the jaw, the lips, top of the lips, bottom of the lips. Feeling your teeth inside the mouth. your tongue, the roof of your mouth, and letting the awareness traveling all the way into the nostrils, feeling those two big spaces, the nostrils and the nose. Traveling up even further, deeper within the brain, reaching the eyes from the inside out. And just sensing that space around and inside the eyes with your eyes closed. As you travel up even further into the eyebrows, the third eye, all the way into the forehead. Sensing even into the inside of your brain. Becoming aware now of your whole body as you're lying here or seated here or stretched out here. And feel the whole of the front of your body. And then the whole of the back of your body. Feel both hands together. And both feet at the same time. Feel your stomach and your chest at the same time. And then you can allow your body to fall into the background as you're resting here on the earth. And I'll offer a few visualizations. So whatever that comes to mind with the suggested visualization, just let it come up however it will. No forcing or trying. Just notice whatever arises in your mind's eye with these suggested visualizations. So the first one is a sun rising over a mountain. Winds across the sea. A bird soaring over a green, lush valley. A temple at dawn. Elephants walking in a savanna. Monkeys jumping from tree to tree. A holy man walking in the desert. The sun setting at the ocean. Smiling Buddha. The full moon shining onto a lake. the full moon shining into your heart. And allow your whole body to be bathed in the full moonlight, to receive the healing energies of the moon, resting deeply and profoundly for this time of meditation. So the words will subside now, and you will just be resting and healing in your own way until I ring the bell after some time, quite some time has passed. And as you continue resting deeply in this healing space, I will offer a healing chant of the healing Buddha into the space. So just receive the sound as part of your healing, as part of your resting. Namo 小在人手要师父，南无小在人手要师父，南无小在人手要师父，南无。普揭法地比沙世界罗贝罗利，波来波尔来世耶丹他揭多耶，波来赫地三藐三菩提耶，丹遮汤比沙世比沙世比沙世。三摩揭谛沙诃，南无婆揭法地比沙世，俱罗贝罗利，波来波尔来世耶。但他揭多耶，我来何地三藐三菩提耶？但知汤，毗沙是毗沙是毗沙是三摩揭谛沙诃。南无婆揭法地毗沙是俱罗比罗利，波来波诃来世耶？但他揭多耶，我来何地三藐三菩提耶？但知汤。毗沙是毗沙是毗沙是三摩揭谛沙诃。南无婆揭法地毗沙是俱罗比罗利，波来波诃来世耶？但他揭多耶，我来何地三藐三菩提耶？但知汤。毗沙是毗沙是毗沙是三摩揭谛沙诃。南无婆揭法地毗沙是俱罗比罗利，波来波诃来世耶？但他揭多耶，我来何地三藐三菩提耶？但知汤。毗沙是毗沙是毗沙是三摩揭谛沙诃。南无婆揭法地毗沙是俱罗比罗利，波来波诃来世耶？但他揭多耶，我来何地三藐三菩提耶？但知汤。毗沙是毗沙是毗沙是三摩揭谛沙诃。南无婆揭法地毗沙是俱罗比罗利，波来波诃来世耶？但他揭多耶，我来何地三藐三菩提耶？但知汤。毗沙是毗沙是毗沙是三摩揭谛沙诃。南无婆揭法地毗沙是俱罗比罗利，波来波诃来世耶？但他揭多耶，我来何地三藐三菩提耶？但知汤。毗沙是毗沙是毗沙是三摩揭谛沙婆诃。 Offering the sound of great healing of Guang Yin, of Avalokiteshvara Bodhisattva, that hears the cries of the world, offering deep compassion. So just offering her mantra into the space, the sound of her healing. Namo Guang Shu Yin Pu Sa. 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 Guang 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 Yin Pu Sa. I just want to invite you, if you wish to, if it feels right, to add any kind of healing touch to your body with your hands. Only if it feels right. Could be placing a hand on the heart or the belly, maybe stroking your face with the hand. Whatever feels soothing and nourishing and healing to you at this moment. Perhaps adding a more intentional, gentle breath into that area that you feel that needs healing at the moment, perhaps where you're offering touch. And direct the breath into that area of your body. Maybe bringing to mind a higher being or a being in this realm that you trust, that you would like to be witnessed by in your healing touch at the moment. Can be an animal, a person, a higher being, maybe something in nature. Just being here as a witness to your healing. A witness to you taking care of yourself in this loving way. And then see if you can connect with your whole body once more. Just feeling your whole body lying here or seated here or stretched out here. Perhaps beginning to deepen your breath a bit, sending it throughout the body. And maybe adding just some small movement now to your body. Maybe just gently moving your head from side to side or wiggling toes or opening and closing the hand. Just bringing back some gentle movement into the body. And in a moment, I'm going to ring the bell for us 3 times just to add sound one more time, just to signal the end of this healing meditation, the end of this meditation time that we have witnessed together. If you wish to remain in this way, however you are, please feel free. I'm just going to offer us a 5-minute break before we come back together as a group at about, let's actually say 3:37. I'll see you then. Thank you. And we can begin as we always do with our mindful sharing and just giving everyone those 3 precious minutes to share from the heart for whatever feels alive in them at the moment. And I will just provide a gentle reminder via the bell if you go over 3 minutes, just so that we also have time for the second part of the second hour to continue our studies on the verses on the faith mind. And so why don't we, let's see. Yeah, why don't we just take turns sharing? I'm not going to say who's to start or not to start, but just being mindful that we don't want to have too long of a pause between or after one person has shared. So just feel free. I'm going to mute myself, and then whoever feels called to begin can begin their share.
I just wanted to thank you, Bettina, for such a lovely meditation, and with the wonderful surprise of your chanting. I love chanting. It really resonates, and I'm really kind of, I guess, most accustomed with the male voice chanting, and it was just that feminine voice chanting was so nurturing and just angelic. It was so beautiful. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I don't have probably a lot to say, but again, I'll echo what Elaine was saying. Thank you so much, Bettina. And the chanting was lovely. It was kind of just transporting. It was, and it was taking me, the meditation as well was taking me to, you were talking about healing spaces and just spaces of non-separation. Which is what I've been reading a really fascinating book about Rumi the last couple weeks and kind of getting into that. And then before that, it's all in preparation for a conference, but also of the feminine divine and female mystics. And so that's been lovely, but it kind of continued with this, with just what is healing, in that healing was just feeling places of non-separation. So, I was thinking of cabins in the woods by lakes because they're healing places for me, but I also felt they're not far away. They're not even like Julian far, Idlewild far. They're like right here. And that's what that felt like. So I'm very, very thankful. And yeah.
I'd like to say that thank you as well. I love Yoga Nidra, and I don't often get to practice it. It's even in my yoga studio, it's not common. It happens from time to time, but it's quite wonderful. And chanting, just I was doing some I have Reiki training, so I was just doing some Reiki on myself right then. And I really did feel like that whole sense of my body receiving. I had no idea what you were saying. I didn't need to know. It was just wonderful, like soothing water flowing through my body in a lovely way. So that was just special. And I'd like to say I followed through. I didn't just talk about it. I'm actually doing it, walking more, making it a priority, and especially in this lovely weather, just splendid. And I think that it's really helping me. I didn't realize the lack of sun really affects me, and I forget that that's happening. The going out into the sun and the breathing and the moving, and it really makes a tremendous difference. So I was right in thinking that that was something I needed to prioritize. So I'm glad I am doing that. And so my progress on Project Linda. So, more walking.
Bettina, I really am I still here? Anyway, I really appreciate that that Yoga Nidra as well. That was really, really nice. And that chanting, I've never heard you chant like that before. That was beautiful. Uh, um, for me, I'm just trying to practice acceptance in whatever way that I can. And still feeling pretty tired, but I find that fighting that is just takes more energy than I'd like to offer. I mean, it takes more energy than it seems worth it. So I'm just trying to rest when I need to, and be present when I'm resting and when I'm not resting, and that's it's really all for me today. I don't have a whole lot to share today. Except that, yeah, I love Yoga Nidra, and it's such a treat to have somebody offer Yoga Nidra live, and where you're not listening to a recording, and it was just beautiful. So.
Yeah, I remember years ago, Laura, as you know, Laura Plum and Bava Ram, my teachers and my teacher training from years back. But I always really loved Laura Plum's Yoga Nidra, and I had a tape that I don't actually know where it is, but I remember always really loving her Yoga Nidra and playing the tape often, and was trying to recall some of her instructions today, and yeah, so I'm glad that we had this experience together. And the chanting has been so dear to me for so many years. I feel myself often as a very devotional practitioner of Buddhism, and I think my beginnings were, for several years at the Taiwanese temple, Shifang Temple on Park Boulevard, and they had services both for the Western and the Taiwanese, but I always found myself really drawn to the chanting service in Chinese on Sundays, and I would go, and there would be very, very, very few Western faces there, but I just loved the community. I loved the chanting, and I loved the nuns, and it was just such powerful energy in the temple. You could really just palpably feel it when there are so many people chanting together in the temple. So yeah, and there were a few chants because we chanted together for so many years that some actually stuck after a while. So I'm glad that I was able to offer a couple of the mantras at least this evening. So for us, but deep bows to the nuns here in San Diego. It's all nuns. In other parts of this tradition, it's monks and nuns. But yeah, there was a lot of female energy, very powerful female energy through the monastics chanting there. So I think that's always going to be part of my memory, to remember the nuns chanting at the temple. So, and I also myself had a really powerful healing experience just on Friday going into Saturday. After many moons, I scheduled a massage with this massage therapist that I really love, and he gave me I felt like a very powerful and deep massage. And then as I woke up on Saturday morning, I went into this almost like ceremonial state where my body just began shaking and just like releasing things, and I was making all kinds of sounds. Z was actually a witness to it. It was kind of extraordinary. I didn't see myself in that state, but it was just like this huge release that just went on for minutes at a time. And afterwards, I actually felt like I was releasing a lot from my head. And since then, as soon as I was done, I saw that my whole forehead had broken out in a rash, and it's still there. And then there's some rash that's been added on my arms, but I think it's all these releases somehow, things that are being released through the skin, which is usually tends to be in my case. I release things. I have had skin issues all my life, and if anything, stuff gets released through the skin. So I guess it's it's happening again at this time. But it was a really powerful experience. So yeah, healing is possible. So yeah. So let me just check. I know that Z had written something in the chat. Yeah, Z is just saying that Z is not participating, but doesn't want to sign out in case it'll end the meeting somehow. But Z has graciously posted the next paragraph in Verses on the Faith Mind. So you should find that in the chat at the moment. It's already there. Let's just take a look here. So I think Z might have actually signed off. No, Z's still there, but hopefully, I mean, we have quite a bit of time, so I don't know what we're going to do when we finish talking about this paragraph, but I guess we'll see. We'll just begin here. And is there maybe someone that could read the paragraph for us? And actually, before we begin, if we could all maybe just take a moment to mute ourselves again, because a few of us stayed unmuted. So, and including me right now, I'm going to mute myself, and maybe somebody could volunteer to read the paragraph that's posted. That would be great.
I can read if no one's stepping up. When movement stops, there is no movement. And when no movement, there is no stopping. When such dualities cease to exist, oneness itself cannot exist. To this ultimate state, no law or description applies.
Didn't we talk about that last week?
I think we did, and I think you're right, and we always post the one from
Sure.
the time before. So uh, it did this next sentence that starts with realized mind at one with the way, is that then would that be the next paragraph? Because to me it shows just as one big paragraph. Do you see that on your screen as two different paragraphs?
I see it as a new paragraph.
I see. So maybe we can just see if there's anything else that wants to be offered into the space about the first or the last paragraph from last time that starts with when movement stops, there is no movement, and so forth. I'm just going to give it a moment for that. I just want to say that to me, this is just really powerful, the sentence, and when no movement, there is no stopping. That's just really, really striking. Out of this state of being versus doing, and what would actually arise out of this if we can really bring ourselves to stop in so many ways, to really see and feel what's there. But it just feels so powerful to read this in this moment. When no movement, there's no stopping. It feels just really powerful.
Seems like that's yet another duality, stopping, going, yet another thing that we think is inevitable, but really not. It can be transcended, we see, as we release it in hopes of reaching this ultimate state, which it's even beyond oneness, as we were talking about last week. It's just, no name or description, or there's no way to talk about it really. Just, I think of it like outer space, when they talk about outer space, which is without, it's empty, vast, empty, dark, no air as we know it, no oxygen as we know it, just no anything, no sound, just emptiness, vast emptiness. I'm thinking maybe it's that, something approaching that.
Yeah, for me, I really like, I think the line that Bettina was talking about, and when no movement, there is no stopping. And to me, there's just such a stark contrast there, and I'm not sure where to go with it, but something that's coming is, and when no movement, so the no movement's on my part, no judging, no dualities, there is no stopping. In my experience, in those moments when I'm there and I just notice, it's like creation is giving birth all the time. And that's kind of when there's no stopping of creation giving birth. And I'm more aware of it in that it's just constant. And it's kind of just this stream of birth everywhere I look. But of course, if I'm moving, I don't see it.
I just wanted to add what came to mind when Bruce was just talking about how I feel that usually we don't stop moving because of conditioning, but also I was thinking maybe out of a state of fear that, we what would happen if we stopped, and it's not familiar, so we don't really allow ourselves to go there. So it's better just to keep going. At least we know kind of what's going to happen if we keep at it. Yeah, so this place of coming to a halt can, I think, might, for a lot of people be hugely fear inducing. It's like, oh my God, what's going to happen if I stop? Who am I if I stop? So, yeah. And then Z just posted something. We have a dear friend, a couple of you know her, Cynthia Rich, and she's very much into the polyvagal theory right now. And I couldn't actually explain what that is, but it has a whole lot to do with our nervous system and what triggers it and how to calm it and the different parts of the nervous system that we can be in. But Z wanted to echo this comment by saying that Polyvagal theory says that movement creates a feeling of safety. Interesting. Okay.
I
So
know
that would,
someone,
yeah, go ahead.
I'm sorry. I know someone who has great pain. She lost a young son in a car accident years ago, and it just broke her. She has never been able to fully put herself back together from that. She went forward, she made a charity, she did all kinds of things, but it didn't really go inside. So she is a person who is in constant movement. She's talking on the phone, on her computer, and cooking, simultaneously. And she has lots of accidents. She drops, breaks, because of this frenetic movement. She's trying to outrun her pain because I think every time she's still, there it is. And still, after 20 years, it's unbearable to her. It's just unbearable. So she describes herself as like a shark. I have to be in constant movement. And then she laughs. And I think, okay, on one level, that might be funny, but on another level, my heart is breaking for you because I know what you're doing there and the fear that must be there. You can't keep that pace up forever, right? And that pain's not going anywhere unless it's dealt with. And somehow, and she has the tools to do that, but somehow it didn't happen, or it hasn't happened fully enough to allow her to be healthy at all. So yes, I think the fear of lack of movement is severe in some people, such as her, who have great pain that remains unfully faced, and not integrated in some way. Integrated may not be the right word, but accepted in some deeper way that allows one to let go of some of the emotional charge that obviously that stays with you for life, but maybe not the emotional charge of it, the active pain. I don't know. I'd probably be institutionalized if this had happened to me, so I really can't say. She's probably high functioning compared to what I would be. But I think movement serves a purpose for some people, for some of us.
I was just going back to that. And when no movement, there is no stopping, when Linda was talking about her friend. Because I think, speaking for myself, but probably all of us have been in places like that at times, where we just don't want to face the void. And it feels like a void. And I don't even want to sit there. I don't want to acknowledge it, the pain, the void, the emptiness. And to me, and when no movement, that's how I would characterize the void. And yet it says, and when no movement, there is no stopping. So I guess the stillness, the stopping, that void, when I actually face it, to the degree I do, I find out it's not really a void. There's no stopping. In other words, what I was saying earlier, that creation steps in, and that giving birth over and over. So when, I'm thinking it's a void, then I look, and maybe it's still a void, but there's birth here, there's birth there. And so when I can stop and face the void, for me, it's no longer a void.
I wanted to add to that I've been learning a lot about trauma-informed practices in recent months, and there's a trauma expert. He's actually Austrian. His name is Thomas Hubble. In German, it's pronounced Hübel with a U umlaut, the little two dots over the U. And he says that it's interesting. He says there can actually be a lot of wisdom, what we're talking about when someone is not stopping, that the body really knows, or the being really knows when it's ready to stop more. And when I was thinking about Linda's friend, and her friend obviously knows that maybe she's not ready right now. Like if she actually literally stopped, she would probably be driven insane, and it would take her over the edge. Possibly. I don't know anything about her, but I was just thinking about that when I heard Linda speaking, that it might actually also partly be the wisdom of this woman, that she knows, no, she really needs to keep going until somehow conditions change in her life, that she might be able to have a new resource added in her life that would allow her to maybe stop even just momentarily and see what that feels, to see, is that safe enough? So I just wanted to add that piece as well, that sometimes there's actually really a lot of wisdom there in not stopping, possibly. So I found that very interesting, and it made a lot of sense. I know that Lauren could probably, as a therapist, could say some more about that from her experience. I'm definitely not an expert in that, but Lauren is much more studied in that field. So if she wants to add something.
I don't know. I think these lines are also saying about or speaking to when one as an individual also ceases to exist in the way of being. I think it's also saying something about death. I think we look at the world as revolving around us, but but actually when we stop from existing, the world moves on around us. But also when you were saying, Linda, when you were talking about your friend and Bettina, you were also speaking of it. I remember I have a very good friend whose husband died of AIDS, and she said that after he died, she listened to music or something pretty much constantly. She either had the TV on in the background or she had headphones in her ears, and she was supposed to test to see if she was positive for AIDS. She tested in the beginning, it was negative, but she was afraid to test again. And it wasn't until after she tested, like 2 years after he died, that, and it was negative, that she said she finally stopped the music in her ears and walking the dog with headphones on and whatever. Like she finally was able to stop and find silence. So, whereas it seems like, it's a mechanism that might stop your friend from coping. It might actually be a very wise coping strategy as well. So, the other thing I think of when I think of this is actually death, that when we stop, the world still continues, the consciousness continues without us here. There is a consciousness that is beyond a self being in the world, so to speak, is what I'm thinking of this. So and I think that when it says to know this reality directly is possible only when practicing non-duality. It's kind of like most of us don't stop during our lives to see that. We don't see that until I don't know what happens when we finally realize that we're not, or if we do ever recognize that we're not here in the universe. So anyway.
So we have time definitely to go on to the next paragraph, and if somebody could read it for us, that would be great.
I will read. For the realized mind, at one with the way, all self-centered striving ceases, doubts and irresolutions vanish, and the truth is confirmed in you. With a single stroke, you're freed from bondage. Nothing clings to you and you hold to nothing. All is empty, clear, self-illuminating, with no need to exert the mind. Here, thinking, feeling, understanding, and imagination are of no value. In this world, as it really is, there is neither self nor other than self. Okay, that's quite beautiful. Sometimes I'm just struck by the beauty. Sometimes it's more functional, but that really is quite beautiful.
I don't know if I can articulate what I'm thinking, but yeah. Just thinking of when you meet a moment or a particular struggle, with the Dharma, with the reality of things being as they are and being neither permanent nor perfect nor personal. There is an experience of being freed from bondage. I mean, it feels that way when you actually are skillful in meeting your experience with a refuge in the Dharma. I don't know. Yeah, things seem kind of effortless. I mean, I've experienced these things where your doubts and kind of delusion and or confusion, not knowing what to do, they just seem to evaporate. This resonates a lot with me. And yeah, the same thing when you when I go from seeing it as a difficulty or something as my problem that I'm mired in, and I take the lens out and consider my interdependence with others, that it's not my suffering, that it's a shared suffering. Same thing, it just seems clear as a bell. And it's quite an extraordinary experience when you have it, when you have those moments of Buddha-like moments, I guess. Yeah.
So I wanted to ask if somebody could speak to what interests me in this is when it says, here thinking, feeling, understanding, and imagination are of no value in the world as it really is. There is neither self nor other than self. So I'm taking that in with a sense of curiosity in terms of what Bruce also talked about earlier, this place of non-separation. And to me, at least in this relative realm, I haven't reached the ultimate. To reach this place of non-separation, to me, has a lot to do with understanding and feeling, feeling myself into a space of understanding, another person or groups of people to really take me to a place of non-separation by having compassion, or maybe imagining what it's like for them, or how I impact them. And I know, of course, at the ultimate level, then there is no more separation. So I guess maybe I'm answering my own question, that ultimately it's not necessarily because you've done the work of the feeling and the understanding and the compassion. Is that how you see it, or do you see it differently?
I would go to the previous sentence. Where am I? All is empty, clear, self-illuminating, with no need to exert the mind. So that empty is what I zeroed in on. That's my outer space visualization that I have. To reach a state of emptiness, maybe as Elaine was talking about, like just those times where we're just in a flow. We're not doing anything to make that happen, but we're in it and we're relaxed, perfectly relaxed in it, as if you were lying on your back in a nice, sweet little river and just floating down with no fear, worry, or problem about it. It's something like that, I think. To reach this level that we're now referring to, we're probably beyond compassion, maybe. We have passed through that and integrated it so fully on our way to a state of emptiness, of not needing to define feelings, or, I'm just scattershotting here, but nothing clings to you and you hold to nothing. So being beyond all of it, to just work one's way through and up and through and up and through and up until there's nothing left to do. You're floating on that river and you're in that flow, and it's not in your control. You don't need it to be in your control. You're just there. Well, you're not even really there. There is no you. There is no there. It's really hard to talk about this. There's not the language is difficult. Language is my jam, and I'm struggling. So that's good though. Struggle is good. I like wrestling with these concepts. I really do. I like a little Buddhist gym that we're in, a little gymnasium for our mind and our spirit. I think emptiness is very difficult for the human being to grasp. Complete emptiness. I mean, even saying that, it gives it a name and the shape and the space. So that's how difficult it is. Can't talk about it. No words.
I can probably bring to mind like, 3 or 4 experiences like that. As soon as you try, and it's kind of like a bolt. It's kind of like it just happens, and it's kind of like it almost feels like a bolt, like a bolt, but there's almost a knowing that as soon as you try to understand it, or as soon as you try to put your mind to it, it will disappear. And there's kind of a knowing of that. There's kind of a knowing of that, and you know that if you put your mind to it, it's gonna go away, and you don't you don't want it to go away, so you don't put your mind to it. But times that has happened to me has been once during a retreat during a retreat. It just felt like that. It just felt like a bolt. So all of a sudden, I was in a completely different frame. Another time was listening to chanting and just worried about whether my back was going to start hurting or whatever, because I didn't have anything to rest my back on. And all of a sudden, like no pain, nothing was there. And so yeah, you can see why they say that here thinking, feeling, understanding, and imagination are of no value. And in fact, they will get you right back to earth, so to speak, right back to where you started. And I think that most likely, I think we as practitioners know this more than people who've never practiced, that when you get out of your own way, when you somehow get out of your way, that can happen, and it happens in an instant, in a moment. And then, as soon as you get in your way, it's gone. So I think that the more we could find that kind of stillness, by not looking for stillness, that, the more we could find you don't find your way to that place. You kind of get to that place. Like, what was that? There's a Beatles song that he actually does. They do the chant in there from one of the chants, but about kind of flowing down I can't remember the song. I if anybody remembers the Beatles song where they chant during it, but it is, it's kind of like you become into the flow of it rather than the flow of it comes into you. You actually connect into that. And the way to connect out of it is immediately, if you start thinking that you're in the flow of it. If you think you're there, you're not there anymore. So, but I bet you that if one, practiced that or didn't practice that more, it would happen more. But I think we don't even notice it happen. We miss it. We miss it each time because it's not always there for us to see. And yeah, words are really hard to describe what that means, but
So there's a note from Z to everyone, which says, what does it say? Oh, I think I just lost it. Does somebody see it? Can somebody read it? For some reason it disappeared from my.
I've got it.
Okay.
It says this from earlier in the verses may speak to your question, Bettina, and speaks to what Lauren is saying. The more you talk and think about it, the further you wander from the truth. So cease attachment to talking and thinking, and there is nothing you will not be able to know. I was thinking of that just in that last one too, that it's just, I don't have the verse in front of me, but it's that I can't, I'm here thinking, feeling, understanding, imagination of no value. So many times I'm in those experiences, not that they happen that often, but I want to deconstruct them. and I want to understand them, and I want to put them in a box and tell other people about them. And they blow away. They're so much bigger than my ability to deconstruct and explain and even own them, kind of like a commodity.
So I think we've reached the end for this evening. It was a really good share, very deep level. I feel like I learned a lot tonight through all of your shares, taking me to a deeper space, maybe not yet the ultimate, but definitely deeper along on the relative realm. And so maybe for our closing, if you feel comfortable, just to close your eyes again. And it seems to me that a way to perhaps tap into the realm of non-separation reminds me that so many times we are really separate from ourselves. And that is also part of the problem, so to speak. So perhaps for tonight, it's just to suffice by ending and really fully connecting with our inner being again, so that we're leaving nothing out, that we're including all parts of ourselves, whatever that means to you. Maybe the places where you judge yourself, where you push away, where you don't want that part of you to exist, and just inviting it all back in to be part of the way, to be part of the path, so that you can embrace your path or the path with your whole being, with your whole heart. And whatever that means to you in this moment, just maybe touching into that place for a minute or so. This place of non-separation within yourself. And as this practice time that we have shared is coming to an end, we call to mind all sentient beings that share this earth with us, all plants, all animals, all humans, all seen and unseen beings. And we offer the merits of our practice time together to all beings that live on this earth, in the sky, and beyond. May all beings be free from suffering and the causes of suffering. And may all beings know the highest happiness and the causes of happiness, of true happiness. Thank you, dear Sangha, and Z has joined us for the farewell portion. Thank you so much. We send healing energy to you as well. May you fully heal from your fall. Whatever has been stirred up in body and mind, may all fully heal, and may you be whole. And may all of us be whole. Thank you. Have a really good night and take good care of yourselves, and hopefully see you here again next week.